Hi Kiwi, and welcome back to a new episode of Hades 1. Today we're going to be taking a break from our high heat runs and playing with a new mod, the time bending mod, which is sounds very interesting on paper. Basically the way it works is every time we attack, every time we land a special, the game speeds up a little bit. So for example, you can see here my attack speed is just skyrocketing. And it's not just my attack speed that increases, it's also the other enemies. So you're basically looking at, I think it caps at maybe like 80% more speed on top of the 40% forced overtime that we're gonna be taking here.
Do your worst, father.
We're gonna do a 32 heat run, and I'm taking the Artemis keepsake because I feel like, support fire would be really funny in this build, even if it's not good. We are starting with Flurry Slash. I did do a starting boon selector mod to guarantee that we get the funniest hammer for the funniest game mode we could possibly do. And as you can see, things are already getting a little insane. So we're hoping for support fire here. If we don't get it, I mean, honestly, rapid fire crits on our attack doesn't sound like a bad deal. After that, I mean, really, I just want things that stack with multi-hit. So probably Demeter's Glacial, what is it? Snowburst. I'm forgetting the name, but the Demeter boon that the more stacks of shield you get, the more damage you do. Ultimately, what we really want to just make this as turn your brain off as possible. Do I re-roll here, or do I just take the attack? I probably just take the attack. Anyway. To make this as turn your brain off easy as possible, we are looking for a second hammer in the form of Curse Slash. Yeah, it's going to reduce our max HP by a pretty substantial amount, but we heal 2 HP every time we land an attack, and we are landing an attack multiple times a second, frankly. I think, honestly, I'd take Heaven's Vengeance here, because I'm going to... Vengeance wounds are actually pretty solid here, considering I'm going to be getting hit a lot. One important thing to know about this mod is it's not just that enemies attack faster, you do get damage reduction. They do, I think, 40% less damage at maximum speed. So you can really just turn your brain off for this mod, but it's so silly. It's so silly looking. We're going to toss that into... I mean, yeah, it doesn't really matter here, because ideally I trade... I take this Demeter... I think I take this Demeter boon, because like I was saying... Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna risk it. There is no way I'm going to clear this hit list. Like, let's be honest. I think it's just too difficult with your maximum speed being ramped up so substantially. But nonetheless, I can't help but laugh at it. We'll give it a try and fail immediately, probably. Anyway, so as far as this playthrough goes, or this episode goes, yep, there it is. We almost made it, honestly. Well, okay, maybe not. There was a lot more to wave, and there's another hit. Never mind. We never stood a chance, and we knew it, but. Goodness, this is ridiculous. This mod's a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to try this on the Fists and Rama, especially. Oh my goodness, Rama's gonna be hilarious with its special. Just imagine a Zeus build with that. All right, we're gonna take Hermes or Artemis with Poseidon waiting at the gate. I think. I mean, I'll take the Hermes because more speed. Yeah, okay. Greater evasion. Yeah, I mean, honestly, dodge chance is not a bad option here. Anyway, Poseidon isn't really my favorite god for this, but I'm not going to complain. Actually, you know what? Speeding things up with knocking them around does sound pretty funny. Maybe I go a maximum dodge, for another thought, maybe when I do the gauntlets, or the twin fists, for example, I get the Poseidon attack and the Poseidon dash, and just, like, give myself a bunch of Hermes dashes, extra dashes with Hermes, not a greater evasion. Man, I haven't played. I'm so hot, rusty. Dash. No, we'll take a hydraulic might. More damage. Athena or Sisyphus. Let's just lock in our 4 gods. We got given what we're gonna get. They're not amazing, but what I will say is we would ideally like to see Demeter and Athena together, because then we can get Stubborn Roots, their duo, when we're at Stubborn Defiance or Death Defiances. We passively heal, and so like we could go the gimmicky infinite healing build. But frankly, as long as we get Curse Slash, I think with this amount of speed on our attack, we're probably fine, and it's gonna look really funny when we have it happen. Granted, it's not gonna happen until like Elysium, so I should play at least a little bit mindful of that fact. Anyway, so in honor of a time bending theme, I'll take her dash. You know what? Some survivability isn't a bad option. In honor of the time bending themed, or the time themed episode, I think Kiwi had suggested that I chat about my time related passives, as we've called it. So, being the typical video game obsessed nerds that we are, we have, out of habit, kind of gamified things that we have a habit of doing in life. Yeah, I'll take the coins. I'll take the coins here. We're not we're not super pressed for time on tight deadline, considering we just shred through everything. Anyway, so a lot of my passives largely are linked to things that I probably subconsciously developed from all of the amount of RuneScape that I have played, because for the longest time, RuneScape would automatically log you out of the game after 5 minutes of inactivity.
I shall deal with you later then.
And so my brain must have, like, just because of how often I would kind of make sure that I clicked within that 4 to 5 minute window to not get auto-logged, my brain must have internalized that time frame or that sense of time. And ultimately what it boils down to is whenever we're cooking something, I have an uncanny sense of when it is going to be done. Like typically within a minute or two. We'll take the HP. I think I could definitely stand to get more HP, considering I am getting melted and we don't have we don't really have good sustain just yet. Anyway, so like, with surprising consistency, if let's say we set something for like an hour timer, or a half-hour timer, or a 15-minute timer, I pretty consistently know when things are going to be done. And it's so funny. To the point where Kiwi and I both just kind of laugh about the reality that I am as consistent as any timer. Like Kiwi is our timekeeper in a lot of ways. She sets alarms so that when something that we're working on is about to be finished, we are able to just go and deal with it. But when it comes to anything food related, I kind of beat her timers by a couple seconds in most instances, and it's it's hilariously consistent. And I think, I mean, it's just funny. It's just funny. And kind of the other big kitchen what do I want here? Jolted? Jolted? Yeah, I'll take Jolted. It's never bad damage. And Athena's just so much easier to deal with than Zeus, if I recall, so we'll just deal with her. And honestly, we'll probably kill things faster than she can shield them, and even if she does shield them, it's not that big a deal. We just move on to the other enemy. Although, oh gosh, you know, forced overtime witches with this is kind of scary. Oh, okay, this might be... Oh, thank goodness I took Divine Dash. My goodness, if I didn't have Divine Dash here, could you imagine, Kiwi? I would just be melting. Okay, we really would like to see Curse Slash sooner than later. It's not going to happen until Elysium, we both know it, but anyway, I digress. My other big kitchen passive that we both get significant amusement from, because it is such a niche, specific passive, if you will. Oh, there's our first Death Defiance. It was going to happen, but, well, oh, okay. Apparently, the time bending plays real weird with the slowdown effect from a Death Defiance. Oh my god, what is happening here?
Let's continue.
Okay, Athena got slowed down real bad there. That was weird. We'll take Holy Shield again. Revenge Moons are not a bad option here, and another free Athena's not bad. Could get a Death Defiance refund, but I mean, I think I roll for Artemis. I kind of want to roll for Artemis to get support fire if we can get it. As much as Athena gives us defenses, we get Poseidon. Whatever. I'll just take Ocean's Bounty, get the extra coin for later floors, so we can hopefully buy things. I have 30 seconds left. Well, we're gonna take that HP and hope that I can beat Meg in 30 seconds. Or, well, we got Tisiphone, which is the slowest of the three Furies by a long shot, since she doesn't just have the invincibility shield between phases. She actually between phases, she has an animation that plays where we can't do anything to DPS her, which slows her fight down substantially. That said, the timer doesn't get sped up, only us, so we are kind of melting her. I think we're fine. We're definitely not going to take much in the way of tight deadline damage, even if we run out. Yeah, we're fine. We took 10 damage at most there. Okay, so my other kitchen passive. I can split most things by eyeballing them exactly in half within often 1 gram upwards of 5 gram difference.
Keepsakes hold power.
Again, extremely specific. Who do I want here? I mean, Aphrodite to weaken foes, but Ares... I mean, Ares would be pretty funny, just for getting the duo with Zeus for all the vengeance boons we have. Oh, you know what would be really funny is if we did Doom stacking with him. That would be pretty crazy too. I don't really know what I'm locking in here, Kiwi. It doesn't matter. This is a silly build with silly outcome. Anyway, so yeah, like most commonly it is with breads and baked goods. I will eyeball it. I will cut it in half with a knife, and they are like 1 gram apart at most. Again, with inexplicably almost concerning consistency, and it is just really funny to see that. So like, yeah, those are like my big 2 kitchen passes. I have no way of justifying the split things in half, but I can absolutely understand the deeply embedded sense of time that I have because of all the RuneScape I played. All right, what do we get? Attack speed. Oh, we didn't get attack speed. I have to roll for an attack speed boon. Didn't get it. Do I roll again just because it's funny? Nah, let's just take Greatest Reflex. It's not a bad option here. Eurydice or another Hermes boon. Let's go another Hermes boon. This is our 3rd Hermes boon. I think I forgot, but I might have made it so that I can get more than 2 Hermes boons to show up. I may have just made it so that we get a good couple Hermes boons to guarantee that we can get the attack speed up. That's probably what happened. I know I'm using the first boon selector. I'm doing story rooms guaranteed. I'm obviously doing time bending, and I think I modified it so Hermes is guaranteed to show up. I may have also made it so more hammers show up. I forget if I could modify that. I think I could, but I don't remember. I set this up a while ago, basically after the last recording. I just didn't have time to record. Also worth mentioning, I am officially on my winter break, so uploads should be much more regular starting in December. There it is, Swift Strike. It's the lowest rarity, but we're gonna take it because 10% is still 10%. There's our next hammer. We are going to hope that we roll a Curse Slash, and if we don't, we'll hope that I remembered to make it possible for more hammers to show up. And here's fun. More HP is always welcome.
Let's see who's...
Actually, I wonder, does this make him attack faster? Let's find out. I'm curious. Do your circles pop faster? Doesn't look like your circles pop faster, but what if I'm sped up when you summon one? Cannot tell because you're not spawning your circles and I don't have things to attack. Quite possibly things attack faster. No, I don't. Hard for me to tell. Oh well. Not that it terribly matters. I do think his attack is getting sped up, which is really bad for us because it's gonna be really hard to out DPS him. Oh yeah, we're like neck and neck. This isn't ideal. As long as if he spawns his circles and the enemies jump out of it, that's kind of the ideal here. We barely beat him. Like we clutched it out at the very end there, and all right, nothing great, but honestly, Piercing Wave sounds kind of funny because that base 30 damage coming out every second is pretty bonkers. Let's see, what do we got here? All right, yeah, like look at how many of those are coming out in rapid succession. Mini boss with Ares, let's go for it. Let's see what we can get from him. Again, Vengeance Spoons might be kind of silly. Doom stacking would be pretty silly if I can just spam my special maybe. I'm not really sure what I want to do, but I figure let's do it and see what happens. Anyway, yeah, so those are my big kitchen passives. I don't know, it's just silly. I guess, what else can I talk about on the concept of time? I mean, just the thought that I have more, oh my goodness, there's so many things happening here. Oh my goodness, the wave crashers are just going, like, there are too many wave crashers happening at once. We're gonna lose another Death Defiance at this rate, although I guess the damage reduction is definitely keeping us alive here. All right. Whew, things get speedy fast.
Lord Ares.
Like, I feel like the bull and... All right, what have we got here? Curse of Vengeance. There we go. Okay, so more Vengeance Spoons. Sure, why not? We've got 3 very solid Vengeance Spoons. Hopefully we see the Zeus Ares duo. And a Fountain Chamber. Not going to complain about that, considering we kind of need to be kept alive here. Anyway. So, I guess time travel as a trope in things that in media. So I do really like time travel. I think it can lead to some very interesting, like anything that kind of deals with the concept of time. I know in previous episodes I've talked about like the almost bitterly painful nostalgia of seeing things grow older around you. We'll take that Death Defiance and that attack up. Sure, why not? That'll help us speed through learning. And let's see what boon we get here. So like, I forget the name of the book because you've talked to me about it a couple times because it is a concept that I absolutely adore and want to read this book eventually. But the whole concept of the ageless entity watching the world change around them, and people grow up, grow old, die, and that painful loneliness that comes along with it. I think like a really good recent representation of that we both experienced together was Freerin. That first episode hits really hard when you just see someone who the way that she perceives time and the way that the people around her perceive time is so fundamentally different. The 50 to 80 year lifespan of a human is like a mere fraction of how long an elf's life can be. And so until those people that she treasured are gone, she doesn't realize, like, oh, I just went away for a casual journey and come back 50 years later and everyone's old or already dead. It's such an interesting and kind of lonely feeling to kind of think about how you grow older, or you could grow older with things around you. I mean, it's the inevitable and painful reality of owning pets, is that you will almost inevitably outlast them. And there are people that I have met who have grown old themselves, and they say, when this pet goes, that's the last pet I'll ever own, because I don't think I'll outlive them. And I don't know, it's just this really, like, melancholy, almost lonely feeling of, you have, oh goodness, we are walking on the beach in slow-mo there. The nice lava-y beach. Anyway. Or magma, I guess, whatever. It's just such an interesting concept that I want to explore more. And I've recently actually just finished reading a webtoon, a manhwa called Patience, My Lady. I was looking for something that was short, kind of less than 100 chapters, which I guess isn't really arguably that short, but short for what I read. Like, I read One Piece, that's over 1,200 chapters in now or something like that. I was just looking for some free coin, we didn't get it. I will go ahead and I guess just take, let's see if we can get Aphrodite's Vengeance Boon and get ourselves a what is it, Curse of Longing build going, just to empower our what's it called, empower the Curse of Vengeance Boon, just so that we constantly are dealing doom damage every time something's weak. And we get hit. We will take the Palmer HP here. I'll just take the HP. Yeah, I guess we're just going like a Vengeance Boon stacking build at this point, because like our base damage is fine. Still really hope we find another hammer that gives us Curse Slash. Won't be the end of the world if we don't, but I would love to see it. Anyway, so Patience, My Lady, the basic premise is this Archmage who has effectively eternal life. Acts as the advisor and the mentor and the teacher to the reigning final heir and lord of effectively abandoned, not quite kingdom, but territory called White. Basically, the story is the Empire overthrew her father, who may have been the previous emperor. I don't think he was, but he was definitely a significant authority figure. He gets overthrown and kind of exiled to this outer territory where he gets to maintain some amount of land ownership, but it's mostly a name. It's a tiny, impoverished land that is in winter tundra, so it can barely grow crops. Ooh, these void stones are not making this easier for me. And so so basically we follow the story of this lord and the Archmage. And one of the really overarching themes, we'll take the HP up there. That'll give us some extra survivability and more coin, by all means. One of the overarching themes is growing old around others and kind of having to say goodbye so regularly. And it is this very lonely feeling. I do feel like of the sorts of media where I've seen this trope done, it's a little bit weaker, I would say. This wasn't like my favorite webtoon that I've read recently. I have some much better recommendations in that regard. Eliseed, Omniscient Readers, Viewpoint, Greatest Estate Agent is by far my favorite ongoing series right now. I guess we'll just take Jolt. This is aid my. You know what? We stack up God Gauge real fast. I bet. Let's take it. And we'll go for the Aphrodite here, but Greatest Estate Developer is hands down my favorite. And then honestly, another series that, I mean, when we talk about the concept of time in media that I indulge in a lot, right now the hot topic is regression, which for context Kiwi effectively refers to someone who has effectively lived out a period of time, whether it's a lifetime or some number of years or some number of days, whatever it may be, and then they, upon death or upon a, oh goodness, they slow down on our death defiance when we have Timebender go. This is so weird. What a weird interaction. Anyway, we're fine. We are melting this bull. I digress. Oh man, we attack so fast. It's so funny. Anyway, when this person dies or a major world event happens, like a huge betrayal, it's often death. The person then kind of goes back in time to a pretty whoop, there we go. We got her vengeance man. Perfect. They go back in time to a time preceding that event, like a lot of the major events sometimes before they got their powers, before the world had this big cataclysm, you name it. And I'm reading several series that play on that. Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint has a kind of a character who does that. The main character is not the one who regresses. The main character is basically someone who read the entire novel that predicts the events of this world's events, and the main character of that novel was the regressor. But that's Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. Definitely, it's already made a pretty substantial impact on me, but I think right now it's not necessarily in a lull, I would say. It hasn't hit the highs that it's hit in some of its earlier stories. But I still think it's a really cool story overall. It focuses on a character who, again, basically knows a lot of the events that are going to happen and how he abuses the systems of the cataclysm that is affecting his world to potentially have a good outcome in a series of scenarios, frankly, that should not have a good outcome. Oh, do we fight Charon here? Oh no, we got the hammer. Oh, there's a three-way tie between what I want, but we have to go the hammer because Curse Slash is on the table still. And I was right, I did, like the Hermes boons, I did increase the number of hammers we can get. So hopefully here we do get Curse Slash, because if we get Curse Slash, it's just gonna be silly herein. If it's not already apparent, then it's horrendously silly to begin with. Anyway, I digress. I've gone on like a three-way tangent. The important thing is, like, so I've been reading several stories with regression as a theme. The idea of when you die, you go back in time and have to deal with the circumstances and try to fix them from happening that way. And one of the series that I think I gushed about a while back in a different playthrough, or maybe it was Hades as well. I think it was probably during the Lotus Lantern playthrough, actually, which happened so long ago now. But it used to be called Triple S Rank Suicide Hunter, I think, and then we still didn't get it. Darn it. I guess it doesn't really matter. So Breaching Slash, Shadow Slash, or Hoarding. I'll just go damage to armor. Helps us along. There's another Hermes boon. We got the attack speed, but I'm gonna go for it. I don't think there's. You know what? I missed out on support fire. Maybe it would have been worth the other round, but whatever. More speed means more Hermes means more speed. Let's stick with the gimmick of this run. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, I think I talked about it in Lotus Lantern, but it was originally called, I think, Triple S Rank Suicide Hunter. They decided to change the name for obvious reasons, since that is a kind of very sensitive topic. I think it's now called maybe Triple S Rank Hunter Who Lives to Die, maybe, is how they rewrote the name. I'm not 100% sure, but this is possibly one of my favorite webtoon manhwas out there. If you like Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, if you like, I'm trying to think what else kind of compares to it. Certainly ReZero. If you like ReZero, absolutely recommend this. Strong recommendation. Because the basic premise is exactly what you think. The main character, when he dies, goes back in time exactly 24 hours. And this can be chained. So he can go back. Quick recovery, not a bad option, but I'm not really dashing, so let's roll, see what we get. Second wind. I mean, more move speed sounds funny. Let's go for it. Are you serious? I'm gonna be spamming Zeus's call anyway, may as well. And then I guess we'll just see what the shop offers. Hopefully something fun. Anyway. I'll take the palm. Do I want the palm? I probably want the HP at least, because I am eating so much damage, and I'm only down to 2 Death Defiances, about to lose another one. I think I may have accidentally grabbed that palm there. Whatever. We'll take Zeus's aid. We'll take the HP. We'll take everything. Blood Frenzy. No, wait. Urge to Kill. No, wait. That's not an attack speed steroid. What do I want here? What happens if I trade out Doom? Is that worth anything? Whatever. Well, I guess I could kind of make a Doom stacking build still happen with the special, like I was talking about before. I don't know. It's not gonna really happen. I'm mostly just attacking and that's fine. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright guys, say hello to my very thwacky sword. We attack so fast. I wish I had support fire here. I'm gonna have to try this on a Rama build and just laugh at what happens. Anyway, I digress. Where was I? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, the bull being attack speed or movement speed enhanced with this is rough. Where was I? Okay, so the basic premise is the main character effectively gains the ability to turn back time every time he dies by exactly 24 hours. And that on its own is about what you'd expect. This definitely, in the early chapters of this manhwa reads like one of those isekai or isekai adjacent power fantasies, you know, the ones that have the touch screens that let you level up your skills, that tell you what your abilities are, the infinite kind of stacking of abilities. There's a passive that he gets that kind of lets that happen, that leads into how he gets his ability to turn back time. And on its surface, if you look at it for its first couple chapters, you realize you almost get misinformed about the nature of what this show is, or what this story is going to be about. You think, okay, it's going to be the typical male power fantasy. He gets all the girls, he gets all the happy outcome all the time, he gets everything that he wants. It is not that. This is a story about someone sacrificing so much to get the best possible outcome for everyone involved. And it's, in a lot of ways, it feels very similar to ReZero in that regard, where the main character kind of has to die and try again and try again and try again, because there's always something that isn't quite right. And even when he gets an overall happy outcome, he is not satisfied. He wants to find the solution where everyone is happy, including sometimes the enemy, the antagonist. He finds out the reason why the antagonist is the way they are and tries to find a way to work through their traumas, or at least understand them if he cannot come to an amenable conclusion. But almost invariably, if he cannot, he still doesn't stop until he can. Like, it's hard to explain it without going into deeper plot details, but it was such a phenomenal read, and I read it up until I think the 4th arc, which apparently has just concluded, so I'm gonna go back and probably reread the whole series and gush about it in more detail in a later episode, if not in Hades and something else. But I strongly recommend this, and don't write it off until you've kind of read through the 1st arc, if you have any kind of interest in this sort of story. It is honestly one for Kiwi that I'd even recommend she read potentially, because I think there are some really genuine and beautiful character moments in this series. Maybe I wouldn't say it's my first pick for what I'd recommend for her, because I still think it definitely lends itself to the male power fantasy side of a sort of trope. But it is not without its own merit, and it's so much more than that trope. And I think it's really important to say that, or those tropes. And in its 3rd arc, there's actually kind of like a romance plot that creates an incredibly compelling female lead character, and for a lot of the time is kind of an antagonist to our main character. But the payoff for that romance feels so genuinely well earned. And mind you, this is kind of me just vaguely remembering it, because I have not read this. I think I read this maybe almost exactly a year ago, or a little bit more than a year ago. I think I read it during my last break, so probably about a year ago. So I'm lacking a lot of the distinct memories to truly sell anyone on this story, but I can absolutely gush about it. And kind of in a similar vein to that story is another one that I've been reading recently called the Extras Academy Survival Guide. I like the art style. Everything's a little bit kind of like, I guess, the equivalent of what Disney does for their characters, where the characters are kind of babyface and like, I don't know. I like the character designs because they kind of just look kind of cute. But it's not like so cutesy that it's like chibi or like deformed character, like the not deformed, but like the super deformed kind of art style. It's often equated to like chibi look. Do I go for the hammer now, or do I say yeah, let's go for the hammer. Let's see if we can get Curse Slash now. I'm not really sure why I took the other chamber first, but I don't know. Anyway, I like the way the characters are drawn and the facial expressions that they admit, but basically the premise of this one is, again, the typical male power fantasy that I am drawn to as like my junk food. Main character gets reincarnated as a character from a video game series that he has spent a ton of time in. But he's born as like the reject villain child, like the spoiled rich kid child, which has definitely been done before. That reincarnated as the villain. We've seen a lot of villainous anime and manhwa and everything in between as far as that's concerned. But so it's kind of that premise. But this series has such an underarching sense of kindness in the way it delivers its story. I do think it's worth it. If I'm picking the two, I would definitely pick triple S rank triple S rank Hunter Who Lives to Die over this one. But if you like the former, I think you would like the latter. This one definitely leans a little bit more into the male power fantasy, I think, but the overarching plot is, again, the main character knows the potential outcomes of things, and so he tries to have the best possible outcome with the overarching theme of, I want to survive this world that I have no chance at surviving in my current state. Largely, he is an abandoned noble who's lost his title, his rank, his power, his influence, his money, because he's been exiled by his family, pretty much, or not exiled, disowned by his family for just being an absolute awful person before the main character kind of takes over his body. And each we got Curse Slash. We got Curse Slash Kiwi. Here we go. Okay, this is where things get really silly. Do I go buy these boons now or do I wait? I wait a little bit longer. Let's send some other rooms first. See what money we can gather up. Anyway, oh my goodness, we are just instantly full HP. This is gonna be dumb. I can't wait to send this against Hades and see what happens, because I think even with his enhanced attack speed, we're not on extreme measures 4. I don't think he can out DPS us, even with lasers maybe. We'll see. But look at this. Look at this. We do so much damage. We don't actually do that much damage. We like have no damage, but it doesn't matter because we cannot die. Like tight deadline, if it runs out, we'll be fine. We will actually be fine. Anyway, I digress. Basically, there are, I think, 5 major plot arcs to the video game he's been ported into. Okay, there's our sack. Demeter, give us your vengeance boon, why don't ya?
The seasons turn relentlessly.
And we didn't get it. Let's roll.
Any other blessings, maybe?
And we still didn't get it. So nothing of value. I guess we'll just take Nourish Soul here because at least it'll heal me up. I don't think it affects Curse Slash, but it's funny if it does, so may as well take it because it doesn't really matter. None of the other boons really mattered. All right, let's go ahead and take the Aphrodite boon first. Dying Lament, whatever. All right, Artemis, come on. Yes, support fire. Okay, let's go. All right, this is gonna look so silly, Kiwi. I hope you're ready for some absolute nonsense. And one more level 1 Zeus's aid, because why not? But you know what? Do I want to do some extra rooms? We'll take the fish at least. Anyway, the main premise is basically, so there are, I think, 5 plot arcs to the video game that he's ported into, and at the end of each plot arc is typically a romance interest being the final boss. I think we just send it. Let's just go straight to Hades and see what happens here. And
for a short break and snack.
One of the really interesting things about this story is that the main character has like the big overarching plot points, but there's a lot of subtle details that were left out in the video game. Like, what were the reasons that led the saintess of this priesthood to turn into a tyrant? Why did 1 or 2 or 3 main characters decide to betray the school that he's attending? That sort of thing. And because he is kind of, as he explores the situations that lead to these bosses, he finds out the backstory that he didn't know. So it's not just like he knows exactly what's going on. Also, look at this. This is insane. We have so many on-hit. You know what? I should just find an on-hit build and see what happens if we play this kind of build again. Because this is just silly, Kiwi. This is so silly. I'm just gonna stand here and hold X, and we're gonna win, because even with Boiling Blood, I out-heal all of his damage. Okay, this is exactly what I wanted it to be. I'm so glad we got Curse Slash, because I can just turn my brain off and yap. So I'm trying to remember, like, the reason I brought this up in the first place was because specifically this, oh no, the Void Stones, Kiwi, the Void Stones, Zeus, help. We have to get rid of these things because they're blocking my damage on him. Okay, okay, we got them, good. Oh man, that is so rude. In typical fashion, Hades spawns the, oh my goodness, we're slowed down. Hades spawns the one thing that can hard counter our build. Of course he does. Anyway, the reason why I kind of brought this webtoon up in particular is because there is actually currently a plot arc that kind of centers around going back in time and dying and going back in time, and the sheer desperation of the characters in these moments, the ones who retain their memories upon going back in time, and like just the heartbreak of trying everything and failing and not getting the outcome that you desperately want to have, the happy ending to save everyone, to make, oh, we missed. It's just, it's surprisingly poignant, and again, it very much plays on a lot of the themes that ReZero has that I really enjoy. And
Why?
I
was much stronger.
There's
once
Hades
than
killed, I
this.
guess.
Let's
That was silly. That was so silly, Kiwi. That was fun.
again.
Anyway, it's I don't have enough time left in the episode to really kind of ramble about this too much further.
Very sore right
but
now.
I really like stories whose main theme is kindness, and both Triple S Rank Hunter and the Academy's, or the Extras Academy Survival Guide, have a really interesting overarching theme of kindness, where the main character gets invested in the plot of the story they are in and the narrative of the people around themselves, and really go out of their way to not just have a happy ending for themselves, but have a happy ending for everyone else that's involved. And there's something oddly meaningful to that for me. Oh, gosh, what a silly build. I guess let's get our fish for the night, head home, and call it an episode. Next episode, we'll probably go ahead and send another 50 heat run. I'm feeling, let's get this, since we just did a sword one, why don't we finish the sword off? I have a theory crafted build for what I think is going to be necessary for the sword, because realistically speaking, I cannot beat 50 heat with a sword legitimately. So we're going to do it in a very cheesy way.
Point, but then, predictably, made one of his fatal mistakes again.
But I think if there's anything I want to say, it's that I have read some manhwa that really cater to the narratives that I enjoy. Greatest estate developer is just unbelievably funny beyond anything else. It's hands down the funniest read I've had in a while.
Too busy living in the lap of luxury to pay much heed.
I don't know why the author
Like it when you get pets like
or the illustrator puts so much emphasis onto facial expressions, but there are so many incredible facial expressions that come out of that show, or out of that webtoon, and it just makes me laugh.
Hades. Try saying something nice to him for once.
You can do it, Hades.
You lack several of my worst traits.
All right, fair enough. I'd probably take those gemstones, because I don't need Titan blood for much anything anymore.
Take care of yourself, child.
All right, Kiwi, let's call it a night. Let's say goodnight to Skelly and call it an episode. I hope you've enjoyed me rambling about all the things that I've been reading. I'm definitely gonna read more on it. Timebending was a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to play with this mod more. Definitely a Twin Fist run, definitely a Rama run at least. But let's get our 50 heat clears done, and then we'll kind of humor the thought on more mod silliness. You know what? Let's see how this affects Lucifer. I wonder. We'll need Eternal Chamber to actually play this well, though. Anyway, Kiwi, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you're awake, I hope this is helping you fall asleep. If you're sleeping, I hope you're sleeping well. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one for whatever I yap about next.